Greater love has no man than he gives his own life for others. This, of course, was first spoken by and about Jesus himself. But it's always taken to apply, and I think well too, on Remembrance Day, to all these thousands, millions of young men and young women who gave their lives for others. Remembrance Day has always had a special significance for me. As a young boy, my father, who had fought in the war in North Africa, Sicily and Italy, he always insisted we had to sit down on Saturday night and watch the Festival of Remembrance. For me, I had to do this because my dad told me to. But he had to do it, not because anybody told him to do it. His having to do it came from a much deeper place. Over 40 or so years, I've been doing Remembrance Day services. And I've tried, and I hope have been able to make every one of them of special significance, never to do it in routine. Here we go again. Because this is such a special day, and every year it is one-off and unique. And throughout that time, there have been two incidents that have brought home to me the importance of Remembrance Day. I thought I could share them both with you. The first one is about Christopher. When he was a young boy, Christopher enrolled as an army cadet in I think it's the paratrooper barracks up at Woodall Hills. And when he was old enough, he became a soldier. I never knew Christopher as a young boy. My first introduction to him was when his mother and father came to see me to ask me if I would do the funeral for their beloved son, Christopher. He'd been blown up in an armoured personnel carrier in Afghanistan. Christopher's became the most momentous funeral I've ever been involved in. I remember as the cortege drove round the parish, every school, all the school children, teenagers came out and lined the roads. People came out of shops and businesses and their houses to pay tribute to this one special young man. When it came to the service, and the church was filled with soldiers, men and women, and I remember halfway through looking around and realizing how young they all were. How young Christopher had been before his life was taken away. Made me realize that when I watch those old films of hundreds of men going over the top in the First World War or landing on beaches in the Second World War, every one of them was actually a unique individual Christopher. Some years ago, I don't quite know why, but I found myself reading an awful lot about the First World War. I read various histories and lots of novels and decided that I needed to go there and visit the First World War battlefields. So I said to my wife, would she like to come? It wasn't really her thing, but as a support, she came along with me. I'm jolly glad she did. We spent the first couple of days in a town called Ypres, which was the centre of the British part of the Western Front, and huge Passchendaele battles were fought there in the mud. And then we drove down, following the line of the Western Front, towards the Somme, which has got special significance for so many northern towns, where their young battalions of mill workers and factory workers, often called the Pals, were killed. As we went round First World War cemeteries, I saw something that I was not expecting. All these hundreds of beautiful white tablets laid out, and on many of them, they would always give you, the name Arthur Greenwood of the Lancashire Fusiliers, Jack Longbottom of the West Yorkshire Regiment, whatever. But many of these soldiers were completely obliterated by high explosives, and there was nothing left by which they could be identified. And on their graves, on these beautiful white tablets of stone, it simply says across the top, "A soldier of the Great War." And then underneath it says, "Known unto God." When I read that, I was sort of shocked, but then utterly, of course, the truth came home. Of course they were all known unto God. Of course to God, they weren't just part of a great wave or of a great regiment or of a great crowd. Every one of them was a unique Christopher, known unto God. So, my friends, on this Remembrance Day, on this day of peace, we wear our poppies, we wander around the memorials, we say our prayers, and we are reminded, I hope, that every one of these young men and women is a special, unique young person. They were all known unto God. His arms of love came around them, perhaps in their very moment of death, bringing the love of Jesus into each heart. Amen.